And I cannot convincingly say that if it wasn't for this shitty fucking year, that I would not be in the position I am and I would not be as happy as I am. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the NFS podcast. I hope you are having a great day. I hope you're doing something to move you forward in your life. And I know I say that each and every fucking time that I go on this, but that's because I truly hope nothing but the best for you and that you are doing something that makes you happy, that makes you have a long, luxurious life in your own aspect. And I have to give a shout out to everybody that's listened to this podcast, truly every single person that's given me an opportunity and has given me a voice in this realm. I cannot be more appreciative, and I know this sounds like I'm a broken record, especially if for whatever reason you're binge listening to these, that they all sound one and the same at the beginning, but it is because I am so grateful for you, the viewer, the listener, the person on the other edge of this microphone that is, for whatever reason, sacrificing 30 minutes out of their day to listen to my voice. But yeah, thank you so much. And of course, if you haven't listened to the podcast before, there is only one thing. I don't ever want to monetize this. I don't know if I'm going to get to that point, but I never want to have to put a price on whatever I'm saying. I want it to be free. I want it to be as open as possible. And the best way for me to keep that going is to grow the podcast day in and day out. So if you could do me a favor and share this podcast to one other person, if you find a single nugget of information, just share it to one other person. I will be more than grateful for you and all that you've done for me and to help me out. And let's air out some information right now. Of course, a lot of you are probably wondering, Daniel, where the fuck are the sweaters? You're posting a lot about the sweaters. You're talking about them. But listen, the process is in motion. The distributors, I have a price. I have a deadline to get them in. They're going to take a little bit longer than usual, so I'm looking at the end of January. And if you are looking for the price tag, they're going to be anywhere from $40 to $45 depending on shipping and sizing. But I'm hoping to get them all around $40. Of course, I don't want to make them the most expensive thing in the world because I don't think that anybody should be financially, breaking their wallet in order to get one. But also beanies, very simple beanies. Beanies are also getting made. They're coming out in, gray and black. So those two colors. Originally I was going to do brown, but right now it is impossible to get the color brown. So they're just going to be gray and black. But don't worry. As things go on and more things get made, I am more than excited, and I cannot wait for this clothing to officially be made so I can finally wear my own merch. And if you guys want to be a part of it, then that's how you can support me. If you can't support me any other way, which I guess I don't have a lot of avenues, that is one way. But look out for that. Beanies are going to be done by the beginning of January, so wow, in a couple of weeks now. And sweaters hopefully by the end of January if everything falls in line. But now that we're talking about all this stuff and the things that I am extremely, extremely, extremely proud of that I've finally been able to put into action, which has always been a big struggle for me. I always said I was going to do stuff. I said I was going to make a clothing brand, or I was going to make clothes and sweaters for a very long time. And I always said that I was going to start a podcast. And I know I said that a billion times, but they're in action. And all I really want from this podcast is for it to be an ode to a fucking year. I don't really know how else to put it besides that. An ode to a fucking year. 2020, we're kissing you goodbye. We're nearing the end. We really are getting to the final countdown. And New Year's Eve last year, clearly, was an interesting time. We're all looking at the start of a new era. 2020. We're breaking the chapter. We're out of the teens. We're out of everything else. We're now moving forward. And not a single one of us could have imagined the absolute shitstorm that 2020 was going to bring to not only individuals, but assuming the entire globe. And so this is simply an ode to this year of absolute fucking madness. Now, I don't know about you, but 2020 has led so much of of my life to pivotal points after pivotal point after pivotal point. It has caused me to have to understand what it is that I want and understand who I am as a person every single day more and more and more, because if you've never had adversity in your life, and the odds are that you have, but if you've never had any type of adversity, or you felt like life was, for whatever reason, easy or simple, or things were just very smooth, this was probably a punch in the fucking teeth. And if you've had a lot of adversity in your life, it was still probably a punch in the teeth. And that hasn't changed. Let's be real here. This has been one, if not the most impactful years to date for any of us. I mean, if you're my age, big years are, 2008 crisis, the housing market crash. So essentially, what is the closest thing to a Great Depression we've really been in our generation? We had 9/11, that was fucking insane, and now we have a global pandemic. Those are really the big three things I can think of. And out of all of those, the global pandemic has been a whirlwind of emotions, a whirlwind of everything, to be honest. And these past 9 months or so, that is crazy to think that it's been 9 months since shit's really hit the fan. But these past 9 months or so have been nothing but constructive and understanding, and internally trying to understand who it is that I am and what it is that I'm trying to accomplish in my life. For those of you that know me, and for those of you that knew me for a long time in my former years, I say as a 21-year-old fucking kid, but for those of you that know me or knew me in high school and those times, you knew that I was a real piece of work. I spoke about this in other podcasts, but I wasn't exactly motivated to do anything besides go to school and fuck around. And I didn't want to go to school to learn. I wanted to go to school to fuck around. But wasn't really a good student. But the years that led up to where I am now have been all just work at one thing or another, and trying to figure out what I want to do. And I've changed my majors a handful of times, and I finally settled on something. I've tried to figure out what my passions are, and I dip my toes in computer programming water, and creating music and beats and a bunch of other shit that I've attempted to do, but nothing has quite struck me with the urgency and the desire to succeed like being in the fitness industry and helping people out in this essence. Now, I bring that up especially for the year 2020 because most of my working out, most of my fitness was one-on-one with a buddy or myself in my room, trying to learn, trying to understand, trying to figure out what the fuck it is that is the fitness industry. What does someone create that makes them successful in this industry when it is quote unquote oversaturated? Everybody and their mother, everybody can literally go and work out. Granted, there are very, very few exceptions, and there are people that have those exceptions, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but nearly every single person on this planet can work out. They have the ability to. Maybe not the circumstances, but the ability to. And for those of people that do work out, a fraction of them are quote unquote influencers for the things they do. They are posting on social media, posting tips, posting whatever, trying to just get some kind of awareness around them for their brand or their personality or whatever it is that they do. And I recognized that very fast and didn't want to jump into the waters of becoming just another fitness influencer or attempting to be a fitness influencer. Let's not get ahead of myself here. But I wanted to be someone that could actually bring a real impact to somebody's life, to create something for somebody else that excels them into the future, that makes their life better in some way or another, to bring value upon somebody else. And every single year prior has had promise of attempting to do these things, has a promise of pushing forward, has a promise of something, but there's never been any years where I truly took action on it. I was supposed to get my personal training certification years ago, and I flaked out on it simply for the fact that I just didn't have the drive. I didn't have the motivation. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I worked out with my buddy Antonio for a good chunk of time there, but due to life circumstances and me being my own person and things getting in the way, that kind of broke apart and I fell off. And going into my new job where I work in the fitness industry and I work there every single day and I absolutely fucking love what I do, it has given me a new opportunity, a new light, and a new understanding of what it takes to become successful. Now, what that means to me might be different to you or anybody else. Success is a biased thing. It is a one-off for each and every person. Now, I want to focus more on the development of 2020. For me, everybody's gone through some shit. Everybody's been pushed around, has really shown that in a blink of an eye, things can change as fast as they seemed perfect. And for me, 2020 proved that and showed that things can change as fast as they look perfect. But not only that, but it showed me that I have the resilience and I have the ability to not only move through the tough terrain, but to come out on top if I persevere and truly bet on myself. I've used this as an opportunity to grow myself into the person that I want to be. Now, that in no way says that I am finished with the work. That is no way says that I am done. I am there. I have achieved it. I am very fucking far off from where I want to be. And I have this vivid vision in my head. And it plays like a movie of my future gym, my future home. The things that I want to accomplish. And I can mark down with absolute certainty, if you told me, point on the calendar. I'm on my deathbed. Point on the calendar. Which year of your life, let's say make it to 90, let's be optimistic here. Which year of your life was one of the most transformative, informative, and the one that truly turned the corner? And bar none, at this point in my life, 2020 is that year. As shitty as everything got, as shitty as everything seemed, as much as the media portrays it as an absolute shit show, as much as, politicians and all that political shit, they argue and they bullshit and nothing gets done. As much as people are separated and torn apart from one side to the other, as much as everything seemed to go down the fucking drain, it seemed that 2020 became the year that I decided to become my own person and to pursue my own goals and to understand what the fuck it is that I want from my life. And not only what I want from my life, but what's going to push me and the people that I truly love, that I truly care about, my families, my friends that are family, my significant other, that all those people, it gets me to that next point. And I'm not just saying this to ramble. I'm not just saying this to get, I'm getting a little pumped up here, to gloat. But if it wasn't for this year and everything that I and all my family members and all the people that I know and literally everybody in the world had to go through, I wouldn't be in this position. And I know I've said that 1,000 times over, but I need this to be something that's clear. I need this to be something that is very fucking clear. You have to take the adversity. You have to take the hard route. You have to take everything that comes at you that seems difficult and that seems like a fucking challenge, and you use that to push forward. 2020 was a year that is filled with nothing but obstacles, was feared with nothing but what seemed to be detriment. And rather than succumbing to everything that comes at your direction and everything that just wants to flatten you out and fuck you over, it was the year that I decided this is no more. I'm going to become my own person. I'm going to go after my goals. And now I'm having this podcast, which is still incredible to think. I'm creating clothing, which is incredible to think. I'm reaching towards my athletic goals, not only for myself, but for figuring out how to train people, how to train athletes, how to make people live a better, healthier, wealthier life. And I cannot convincingly say that if it wasn't for this shitty fucking year, that I would not be in the position I am and I would not be as happy as I am. And oh my God, I am fucking juiced. That's the ode to 2020. An ode to what was supposed to be the year that took everything away from me. Was supposed to be the year that frightened me into a dark, dark hole. was a year that was supposed to put me back into my suicidal thoughts, was a year that was supposed to put me back into a dark place where I had no self-love for myself, was a year where I was supposed to just shut the fuck up, sit down, stay in my house, stay in my room, and be alone. And the funny part about that is the be alone part. Because in a house full of my family, full of my loved ones, and I know this goes for many other people out there, a house full of the people that are supposed to truly love you, you somehow still feel isolated. And that's a terrifying thought. It's a terrifying thought that it is absolutely 100% possible that that could have been the outcome. Because then it becomes a very big perspective thing. It becomes a huge perspective thing at that, not just a very big, a huge perspective thing. Because I have to look at what was the alternative. What was the alternative in my life at this point? Think about it. There's a 2020 where I didn't do anything. There was a 2020 where I feared taking action. There was a 2020 where I feared going after my goals. There was a 2020 where I cowered away from things, where I hid with my tail between my legs against anything that would come in my direction, and I was stagnant. I let another year pass by. And I think the funniest thing about that is more so recently than a while, and I feel like I'm starting to turn that tide a little bit more. More than recently, or more recently so, however you're supposed to say that. Listen, I'm not an English professor, but I felt very behind in the things I'm doing. I felt very behind, like I hadn't started anything. There are people that I went to high school with that are graduating college, and I have yet to do so. There are people that are my age that are going off and traveling the world. Well, not so much now, but they might be stuck in another country or whatever. There are people my age that are achieving different things. They might be have more lucrative jobs. They might be married, getting into a relationship. There's so much shit that's going on. But it made me really realize, it made me really think that who the fuck else is supposed to live my life? Who the fuck else is supposed to do this for me? Who's supposed to make the good decisions that I do and the bad decisions that I do is supposed to put in the time, the work, the effort, every fucking thing that goes with who I am becoming right now. It's not the people that are making more money than me. It's not the people that are perceived to be more happy than I am in the moment. It's not the people that are flaunting their cash. It's not the people that are buying the new cars. It's nobody. It's me. It is me. I am in charge of my fucking life. And when I came into 2020, I came with one word. I wanted one word to describe what 2020 was going to be. And that word is action. Now, I wasn't 100% on top of it. I wasn't 100% accurate with everything that I did. I wasn't at all. My ratio was probably fairly low. But this year, compared to any other year, I took more actions on things that are going to move me forward in my dreams and my goals. And so, rolling on to 2021, I have to think of another word. I have to think of a word that would encompass that. But I feel like a word won't do this justice because it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that because I can always say, progress. Okay, well, what does progress mean? Determination. Okay, but determination to do what? Knowledge. Let's learn more. But that doesn't solve anything. Action was good. Action was good for the time because it was very simple and it was very clear. If I say I'm going to do something, take fucking action. Clear, precise, short, sweet, simple. But this year's different. I'm coming out of this end of the year with a completely different mindset and a completely different framework. So I can't encompass it with one word, with one measly word. So I have to say it with a phrase. A very simple, a vulgar, but a very simple phrase. If it doesn't move me towards my goals, I don't want to fucking hear it. That is my 2021. I mean that. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. That is how I feel. That is what I need for 2021 to be as successful as possible. And I'll say it once and I'll say it again. 2021, the phrase of the year, the synopsis of how everything should go, how I feel, how I want to move through life is simple. The phrase for 2021 is, if it doesn't get me to my goals, I don't want to fucking hear it. And you got to understand how much power comes from that. How much pride, how much excitement comes from that statement. 2021 is the year where I am locked in. I am ready to go. And it doesn't start when New Year's comes, when the ball drops in New York. It doesn't start when that happens. It starts right fucking now. 2021. If it doesn't get me to my goals, I don't want to fucking hear it. A simple statement, a simple idea, but I think it's something that each and every one of us can use in our life. I mean, in all reality, what happens? We have a goal. We have something we want to attain, right? Let's just hold out your hands. Unless you're driving, don't hold out your hands. Maybe hold out a finger. But left hand, goal we want to achieve. Goal we want to achieve. Every single finger right there. It's in the palm of your hand. The goal you want to achieve. Every single finger is an action to get you towards your goals. Is something that moves you towards your goals. Now in your right hand, you have every single finger is just something else. Someone calling your name to go do something. Someone pulling you to go spend money you don't want to spend. Someone telling you to go do something and do something else. Someone telling you your dream is fucking irrational. So whatever it is. Left hand, goals. Right hands, all the negativity and bullshit and excuses and distractions. It is up to you. It is not up to me. It is not up to me. If it was up to me, I'd slap the shit out of you and say, you know what the fuck you got to do. But we got to get there. And I got to do that more to myself. Let's be honest here. But each hand, there is one option or another. And something that I heard relatively recently, actually yesterday, was simple. Jot down your goals, whatever it is. Have one really big goal and some short-term goals. And once you know what that goal is, once you're able to backtrack and kind of understand what the pacing is, what it's going to take to achieve those goals, whatever it is, you got two choices. You got the left hand, which is understand the goal and put in the work. And you got the right hand, and it's let everything take that goal away from you. Let everything slip past you in a blink of a fucking eye. It's up to you. It is that simple. It is really that simple. Now, of course, in just saying it, it's extremely simple. Just saying it is extremely fucking simple because the hardest part is putting in the work. The hardest part is going out there and getting your hands dirty. But listen, we're rebounding the fuck out of 2020, bro. Like, we're rebounding out of this shit. If 2020, listen, if you were able to make it to the end of 2020, which I know that is not a light thing to say, and I mean it with all respect and nothing but compassion. But if you were able to make it out of 2020, listen to me, right? Fucking like listen to what I have to say at this very moment. If you've made it this far, then I know that you care and I know that you're trying to understand something. If you made it to this part in this end of 2020, that means that you are a fucking fighter, that you are willing to do whatever it takes to move forward, to push yourself and your family, that you are willing to get to that next step, that next level. You are capable, you are strong, you are fucking courageous. And I'm not just saying that to blow up your ego. I'm saying that because this was a fucking year that was supposed to take each and every one of us out. Mentally, physically, emotionally. It was supposed to burn us down. Staying in a house, staying in a room all day is no fucking way to live. Seeing nothing but bad shit on the news and online is no fucking way to live. Living in a constant state of panic is no fucking way to live. So if you made it this far, you've made it to the end, and you're rolling forward, set those goals. And remember, if it's not helping me get my goals, I don't want to fucking hear it.